tell me the earliest memory that you have of the joy of cooking. Where did that come from for you?
You know, my family cooked growing up, Thanksgiving, all that stuff. My grandma would be in the kitchen cooking for us. But I think I really found my passion for it when I went to college for the first time down at UNCW. I started, got my first house where I lived on my own with some roommates, and I started cooking for myself. And then from there, I started to gradually do bigger stuff. I would just look up all these cool recipes. I'd always, I always watched all the food shows growing up. And then, I started throwing cookouts for my friends, and I would cook all this big stuff. And then eventually got to the point where I was I've kind of learned all I can on my own from being a home chef. And then graduated college, and I was kind of just lost and didn't know what I wanted to do, didn't want to go corporate. And I was I looked into, my parents are I live in Morganton, my family's from there, and I saw AV Tech was not too far away, and I was I should just go for it. I mean, I really just loved seeing my friends and stuff be happy, and my family when I cooked, and so just took a leap of faith, and it has paid off, thankfully, so far.
So you went to school first for something else, and you're now transitioning towards a different sort of career.
Mm-hmm.
At what point did you decide that you wanted to make a career out of cooking?
It was probably the month after I graduated. I graduated with an economics degree, and I liked it a lot, but I was looking for jobs and stuff, and kind of just thinking about what am I gonna be doing every day, and I was really hung up on trying to do something that would make a difference or have an impact. I didn't want to just fill out forms and stuff all day. That'd be kind of meaningless. And then instead of getting all virtuous and caught up in something like that, I was I realized I could have an impact by making food, and the gratification I got from seeing someone's day change from something I made just kind of grabbed me. And economics plays a big part in the industry, because my professor always just said economics is just a way of thinking rather than a discipline. So it kind of translates pretty well into cooking too, just organization and simplicity and stuff like that. So I think they're very parallel, go together.
Is there something that you've learned from, say, just one thing? I'm sure there are many things, but one thing that kind of sticks out in your mind that you've learned from being a hot food team member that you've been able to apply to a commercial kitchen?
Yeah, I mean, mise en place, I don't know, just the level of organization. We know down to the 10th of a gram what spice we need for everything, and working at Linville, I saw it on a big scale, how every little thing matters. And working where I work now, it's a new restaurant that they still are trying to get everything figured out, and I know the standards of what a good kitchen is, and where we're lacking and what we need to get there. And so it's just been getting basically a whole nother education for free, which is pretty cool. And I wasn't even going to try out, because I was I have to drive 2 hours every day. It's a lot of work. And then I was well, what else am I here for? It's not it's going to be less work moving forward, so I might as well take advantage of the opportunity. It's definitely been the best decision I've probably made in my professional career by far. It's been awesome.
And then I have one last question for you. So if you could get into the Wayback Time machine, and you could go back and speak to yourself as you're walking onto campus and into the Magnolia building for the very first time, a little overwhelmed, a little intimidated, what piece of advice would you give to yourself, and by that regard, any person that's coming in for their first time, their first day here in our programs? What piece of advice might you give?
I would just say come in open-minded. I walked in, I'm I'm wearing this silly hat. Like, I came in like, I'm not gonna make any friends. Like, I already been to college. Like, this is like, I'm gonna do my own thing. But then like, you quickly realize like, you don't know anything, and like, you really just have to be open and like receptive to just learning. And so like, just get rid of your ego. Stop thinking like, just accept that you don't know anything and be willing to do anything you can to get better. And just, yeah, like really just put your all into everything. It'll pay back in dividends for forever. Yeah, I would just say, just go for it. I mean, what else are you gonna do? Sit back and just go for it.